The room was filled with a kind of silence that only appears when history is present. Not empty silence, but heavy, sacred silence, the kind that presses against the chest and makes every breath feel meaningful. Soft amber lights glowed across the memorial hall, reflecting gently off framed photographs that captured decades of a life dedicated to music, freedom, and fearless creativity. In this imagined farewell honoring the legendary guitarist Bob Weir, fans, friends, and fellow musicians gathered not only to mourn, but to remember what he gave the world. A sound, a feeling, a movement that could never be duplicated. Outside, the world moved as usual. Cars passed, people hurried, life continued. But inside those walls, time felt frozen. Candles lined the aisle, old vinyl records played quietly in the background. Guitars leaned respectfully against stands, as though even the instruments understood the weight of the moment. Some attendees wore faded Grateful Dead shirts from tours decades old. Others clutched ticket stubs, worn thin from being kept in wallets like sacred artifacts. Every face in the crowd held a different memory, but the emotion was shared: gratitude, loss, love. Bob Weir's legacy wasn't just about music, it was about connection, about community, about belonging to something bigger than yourself. People didn't just listen to his songs, they lived inside them. His melodies became soundtracks to road trips, heartbreaks, spiritual awakenings, friendships, rebellions, and healing. And now, in this imagined tribute, those lives had come together in one place. Speakers stepped forward throughout the evening. Fellow musicians told stories that brought soft laughter through tears. One recalled a late-night jam session that stretched until sunrise, where no one cared about perfection, only about truth. Another shared how Bob once told them, "If the music is honest, it will always find its way home." The crowd nodded because they knew it was true. They had felt that honesty for decades. But nothing could prepare anyone for what happened next. The lights dimmed further, the room grew still. A single spotlight fell on the empty stage. A quiet murmur moved through the crowd, the kind that happens when instinct tells people something significant is about to occur. Then, slowly, a familiar figure emerged from the shadows. Bob Dylan. No announcement, no introduction, just presence. The reaction was immediate and emotional. Some people covered their mouths in disbelief, others leaned forward, as if afraid this moment might disappear if they blinked. Dylan moved carefully toward the microphone, his posture calm but heavy with meaning. He carried a guitar that looked as weathered as his voice, an instrument that had seen decades of stories. He stood there for several long seconds without speaking. Then, gently, he began to play. The first chord rang out like a memory, soft, fragile, powerful. He chose not to perform a grand, well-known anthem. Instead, he delivered a stripped-down, deeply personal rendition of a song that felt like it had been reshaped for this moment, as if every lyric had been rewritten by grief, respect, and gratitude. His voice, rough with age, trembled just enough to make the emotion impossible to ignore. It wasn't polished, it wasn't perfect, it was real. And that's why it was devastatingly beautiful. Every word felt like a letter left unsent. Every note felt like a conversation between two old souls who had shared the same road, even when traveling different paths. Audience members openly wept. Some held hands. Some closed their eyes and let the music wash over them. Others whispered Bob Weir's name under their breath, as if the sound itself might reach somewhere beyond the room. It didn't feel like a performance. It felt like a goodbye spoken in the only language that mattered. When the final chord faded, Dylan didn't linger. He didn't bow. He didn't speak. He simply looked toward the guitar resting beside Bob Weir's portrait, gave a subtle nod of respect, and slowly walked off stage. For several seconds, no one moved. No applause, no sound, just stunned silence. Then the room erupted, not into cheers but into something more human. A wave of clapping mixed with sobs, shaking breaths, and emotional release. It wasn't about celebrity, it was about meaning, about legacy, about the realization that true artistry doesn't die when a life ends, it echoes. As the evening came to a close, people lingered. No one wanted to leave. Strangers hugged like family, stories were exchanged, memories were spoken aloud so they wouldn't fade. Outside, the night air felt different, heavier but somehow warmer too, as though something sacred had occurred inside those walls. And that was the truth of Bob Weir's legacy in this imagined tribute. Not an ending, but a reminder. A reminder that music outlives the body, that impact outlives applause, that honesty outlives time.
Because legends don't disappear, they become echoes, and echoes never truly fade.